Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Saturday morning to you all. Hope you guys are doing great out there this morning and having a wonderful start to your day and a great beginning to your new weekend out there so far. We got some things to talk about in this morning's video, and once again, just like we did in yesterday morning's video, we'll kind of work back to front, meaning we will talk about what's way out ahead of us and then kind of work our way into what's right in front of us. And we're going to do that because we're getting close to Christmas, and the time frame we're going to talk about first is right in front of Christmas. You know, it's a highly traveled time of the year. You know, a lot of people, including me, is always, maybe a little hopeful for a little bit of Christmas snow. This is the time of the year where I'm certainly always searching for that miracle. For me personally, here in the Southeast, I live in Central South Carolina. But we're going to speak on this, talk about what we've been speaking on over the last several mornings, and try to figure this one out. We'll talk about what we're the most confident in and then what we're the least confident in, which is that storm signal or multiple storm system setup with the days leading up to Christmas. So we'll speak on that, and then we'll break down today's weather. There's a lot of things to talk about just for today's weather with an ice storm ongoing across areas of the Midwest, and then we'll speak on a winter weather event that's on the way for areas of the eastern U.S. over the next 48 hours. So we'll talk about it all, get very detailed with all of that. If you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. And if anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put it in the comments below so I can do that and so others have an opportunity to do so too. So we're going to start this off by talking about the pattern upcoming for the days leading up to Christmas. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. In fact, I'm not even going to move it at all. This is for the afternoon of next Saturday. Not this Saturday, obviously, but next Saturday. So what you're looking at here is in the warm colors, the orange, the reds, that's higher pressure. And the bluer colors, or this kind of yellowish blue color, whatever you want to call it, embedded in this blue, that's lower pressure. Lower pressure brings more unsettled weather, typically colder than average temperatures. It's a dip in the jet. And then this color right here brings warmer than average temperatures, typically calmer conditions. So what we're looking at next week around this time is a dip in the jet over the east and then a ridge building over the west. This typically favors cold moving into the eastern U.S. Now, what about a storm system? We are probably at least going to have one storm system sometime late next work week into next weekend. Can we have two or three? We absolutely could, and we're going to talk about all that. But this is the pattern we are looking at for basically the weekend before Christmas. Blue over the east, red, orange over the west. This tells us unsettled weather, colder than average temperatures across the eastern U.S. So let's talk about what this means under the hood, if you will. Okay, so let's break down the GFS first. And I'm going to tell you right at the dot. The stuff you're going to see, the stuff I'm going to mention, my snow weather fans in the South are probably not going to like it too much. You know, I don't want to sugarcoat anything. What we do here is we break down what we see day by day. And that's why I haven't doubled up the videos. I've had a lot of people requesting me, hey man, let's start doing these 2 videos a day. Well, I'm not going to do that until we really lock in something. And we have absolutely not locked in anything yet. And I'm gonna show you what I mean by that here in this video. So the GFS, we're going to start this off by Tuesday morning, the 17th. If you're wondering where the times are on this video, here's TUE acronym for Tuesday, 17 December, and then it's over here also. Don't focus too much on the Zulu time because we're still trying to work out the timing of all this. So we'll get this going. GFS model run. Here we go. We're getting into Wednesday. Here comes the storm system. Kind of the initializer, if you will, of this pattern. Brings a light to moderate snow event across the upper Midwest. Even some snow for Chicago. This is all rain south into the Ohio Valley. Some snow into lower Michigan. And then we're starting to get into the Northeast. All right, this is bringing some just the same looking pattern we've seen over the last several weeks. Snow for the interior Northeast and I-95 corridor. Yes, stays mainly rain, but stay patient with me. We keep this going. Cold air crashing down. You can see the blue lines, that 540 line. Cold air aloft moving in. Cold air at the surface moving in because that green is starting to turn to blue. Rain to snow. This is definitely all rain down here for the Southeast. Not even close to cold air yet. We're getting into next Thursday morning, the 19th. This rain starts to switch to not only snow, but heavy snow as far south as northern Kentucky. Look at this band of heavy snow in Ohio, areas of northern West Virginia, western PA, and the interior northeast New England area. We keep this going. The cold air tries to continue to crash down, catch up with the lingering moisture on the backside of this storm system. And we got rain switching to snow as far south as Tennessee. Once again, those same areas of eastern Tennessee, eastern Kentucky, into West Virginia. And it's still snowing heavily in West Virginia. Low pressure tries to develop as this trough digging down tries to tilt more so neutral to negative, which means we have a strengthening storm system. So we try to have some sort of low pressure that begins to develop next Thursday night off the coast of the eastern U.S. Regardless, some backside northwest flow will get all the way to the mountains of the central to southern apps. I think that's a real possibility. But look, as the moisture tries to catch up, the cold air tries to catch up with that moisture, we start to get some rain switching to snow in eastern Virginia, the Delmarva, New York City, Boston, and then you keep this going, and it ends as a little bit of a rain-snow mix, maybe flat-out snow, and then that low pressure continues. I will say this right off the dot for my friends tuning in from Atlantic Canada, this pattern does favor you guys. It favors kind of a late phasing event, and we'll speak more on that, and I might show you guys here in a second when we know more. But, this turns out to be a winter storm for Nova Scotia. And in fact, I'll show it to you really fast here on the fly. Here, let's see. Turns out to be a big winter storm for like Nova Scotia. Rain, looks like mainly rain for Newfoundland if I'm watching the track of that low pressure. Okay, so that would be a big snow for a big winter storm for Nova Scotia sometime at the beginning of next week. Let's go back to the eastern U.S. All right, so what about the time frame we've been watching after this? Well, the GFS says this is just a northern stream dominated pattern now. We're not seeing what we were seeing 24 hours ago with the snow event, but I'm going to talk about what's changed and why it could change back. It's just a lot of energy associated with this trough digging down. So you're seeing a lot of blues, lake effect snow again. Same kind of pattern, Saturday morning. About a week from today, we're getting a lot of just energy embedded in this trough. But watch as a low pressure tries to develop at the last second because we start to get some wrapping of this northern stream energy, and it tries to do something right at the last second, develop a low pressure. I really think the Northeast Mid-Atlantic certainly still needs to watch this, in the Southeast too. But you can tell just this trough is not digging enough, and there's no tapping of this southern stream down here that just will not catch up with this northern stream. There's actually trending to some sort of southern stream down here, and if it could just catch up with this northern stream, you would have a big winter storm for everybody in the eastern U.S. just before Christmas time, or Christmas. But we continue to move forward, and there's all of a sudden nothing in this time frame that we were seeing. I want to say this, guys. I read the comments yesterday, and I spent a lot of time answering them than I normally do. When I talk about this, it's not a forecast, guys, and that's why I say it about 72 times in my videos. And I read, and there are very nice comments. They'll be like, Mitch, thank you so much for your forecast. It's not a forecast. We got the way I do things is I work my way to a period, and then when we lock in a storm, then I feel comfortable you guys saying, hey, this is a forecast, but we're really just trying to sniff this out right now. So do not live and die by each model run. And I say that because I used to be someone that did. I used to get very happy, very overly hopeful on things, and there's no, I would say, there's no problem with having hope and faith, but don't get so sold into it to the point where you actually tell yourself, hey, this is going to happen. I'm going to tell my uncles, brothers, dogs, aunt that this is going to happen. I'm so sold on it. And then when it flips, you get angry, mad. Why does the models always do that? The models have always done this. They have. So that's why I just say it. I get excited too, but I have a different level of excitement. It's just different, and I don't know how to explain that really without you guys getting in my own mind and just figuring that out. But let's keep going. I just wanted to throw that out at you guys. The euro. All right, euro is always a buzzkill. It's got just it just keeps things real with us, and I call it the buzzkill model. But listen, it's the European for a reason. Historically, it's one of the best models out there because it's just done well. But I can tell you the GFS has done well too lately. So we're starting to get into Tuesday evening of next week. We're starting to get into Wednesday morning of next week. Here comes that storm system that the GFS is showing. Watch the difference here. Okay, Euro, warmer with this system. We keep this going, gets this system through. we stop it right here. Okay, this is for next Wednesday evening. I can tell you right off the dot here. You know, you're not getting the rain switching to snow all the way down to Tennessee, to West Virginia, to Virginia, Eastern Kentucky. You're getting the rain switching to snow up here in New England next Wednesday evening. But you compare this with the same time frame on the GFS. Let's back this up. What was that? Wednesday evening? Yeah, Wednesday evening. Here we go. And this is what we're looking at here. It definitely looks different, okay? This with that. All right, so we keep going, right? We got snow falling in New England, the interior sections of the Northeast. This is all rain for the Southeast, but this was never the big storm to watch. Now, this low pressure tries to develop next Wednesday night and the Thursday morning. So all of a sudden, you're getting a pretty big winter storm for New England and the interior sections of the Northeast. Boston, all rain. New York City, all rain. So this system flies through, moves out. What about what's behind this? All right, big trough digging in, a lot of northern stream energy. But there's really no southern stream energy. There's nothing going on down here. But at the last second, you can tell something's trying to develop off the coast of the Northeast, but it just still is just there's nothing phasing behind this system as we're getting into next Saturday evening. So no significant storm system on the Euro, really, at all. So, you know, it's just not showing anything behind that system. Now, I can tell you the timing is really different. For example, you kind of go to what? This is 18Z Thursday. So this is next Thursday afternoon, the 19th, right? And you go to the same time frame here. I mean, you have a snow event ongoing across areas of just the central apps, east and west of it. You got a snow event ongoing in the Northeast. So it kind of shows the same storm system, right? But the timing is totally off. It's totally different. Okay, now let's look at the Euro AI model. And then I'm going to take a look at the Icon model, which is a model I haven't really showed so far in this particular setup we're trying to figure out. So next Tuesday morning, we have an area of energy to the north and south blowing through. Not a lot of cold air associated with it. Then we're getting into Wednesday morning, low pressure flying at the base of this trough digging down cold air. Remember the Euro AI model, for whatever reason, they haven't updated the color scheme and it only shows up in just green as precipitation. But this is probably snow up here in Chicago. Low pressure flies and cuts across the country. This is all rain for the Southeast. This is rain trying to switch to snow next Thursday evening. Maybe as far south as Eastern Kentucky next Wednesday evening. Low pressure cutting across the I-95 corridor. And then the cold air tries to catch up with the moisture quick enough to maybe try to switch some of this moisture to snow. So even though it shows up in green, some of it's probably snow. Okay, so that's that first storm system. Here comes the second one, right? All of a sudden, a low pressure tries to develop off the coast of North Carolina. This is an aggressive look of northern stream energy. This potentially could be all just about snow up here. And watch what happens. Low pressure, deep low pressure tries to develop right here. And this is all snow in the green. And all of a sudden, you're getting a big coastal Miller A type storm. And this is close to a big winter storm for you folks in southern New England, like Boston. In fact, this is all snow in Boston. It's a pretty cold storm too. And this would develop one heck of a winter storm for Atlantic Canada, Nova Scotia. So the Euro AI model, hey, it's full send on a winter storm, kind of your classic nor'easter look off the coast of New England and Nova Scotia. It's just a little bit far off the coast to deliver a lot of snow for the Northeast. But once again, there's nothing down here for the Southeast. It does try to do something here, but not even close enough. Now the Icon, it only goes out 120 hours. All right, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, here comes that system. It's interesting. On the Icon, it just flat out develops a low pressure and cranks up a winter storm next Wednesday night and a Thursday for the interior sections of the Northeast. It's all rain, though, for Boston. Okay, but it only goes 120 hours out. Now, I do want to look at the OOZ Icon. Totally different. There's so many questions. But the OOZ Icon only goes a week out. But there's that northern stream energy. This is the system behind it. It kind of looks like to me like the Euro AI model. A lot of northern stream energy digging down. And the trough orientation of this is much different. You're getting a dip in the cold further to the west. This looks like a deeper shot of cold air. Low pressure still cutting across southern New England. But if you look at this and then you look at the energy associated with it, this thing is really digging down. So I would argue that if you kept this run going, this would turn into something significant into the day 7 to 10 range. So, you know, if we're trying to figure out, and we're trying to, for example, let's see, I don't think this is what we want to look at here. If we're trying to figure out what's gone wrong with the GFS, okay, if you didn't tune in from yesterday's video, this is what it showed yesterday morning. It showed a nice southeast snow event. Snow as far south as Savannah, snow in Columbia, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, eastern North Carolina. It showed a nice snowstorm. And you're saying, well, what happened to this? Okay, well, this is the look, energy-wise, that made that snowstorm happen next weekend. This is kind of the upper pattern as far as the vorts, okay, the energy in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So what does it look like? For example, this was the run 24 hours ago. This is the run now. Okay, that's the run now. All right, there's just nothing there. Run 24 hours ago, run now. So what's happened energy-wise? Watch how you lose the digging of this little feature right here. We go to the current run. Bang, bang, bang. There's something still digging there, but it's not digging as far south, and it's just not digging aggressive. It's just not digging south enough. There's something still here, but it is just not digging far enough south. Now, you got this new southern stream piece of energy feature down here. If this could speed up, combined with this right here, combined with this, let's draw on this a little bit. Right here, with this, if you can get this to catch up with that, or this to slow down, then you could have something big happen right before Christmas. So, you know, it's just that there's just so many differences. You know, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle out here, and I think we're still going to see some wild model runs. I really do. Now, as far as snowfall between now and Christmas Day, this is how much snow the Euro says. It's mainly confined to the Northeast, the higher elevations of the Appalachian Mountains, the Great Lakes region, and you can see some snow off the coast of the Mid-Atlantic with something trying to develop, but it develops too far away. Now you look at the GFS, and it shows a little bit more snow back in eastern Kentucky, a little bit of snow into Tennessee, but there's nothing for the Southeast. Now you look at the GFS ensemble. Now let's back it up a little bit. Okay, this combines 21 members together. Okay, this goes all the way through Christmas. You see how it fills in? You see how almost the entire Northeast, guys, has some sort of snowfall signal. That means there's a lot of members. Showing snow for all of the Northeast, even areas of the Mid-Atlantic, and there's even a signal down here for eastern North Carolina. I would probably argue there's one member skewing that. Now, if we compare that with the run last night, okay, it shows up a little bit better for all of the Northeast. But for like the Mid-Atlantic and the Southeast, not as good looking. But, you know, at the same time, guys, I still think we're trying to figure this one out. If we look at the Euro ensemble, of course, it's going to, let's go all the way out to Christmas. All right, there's a heavy signal for the Northeast and even for Boston. But, you know, you start to get into the Mid-Atlantic and the Southeast, and it's just not as good. It really isn't. So we're still trying to figure this one out. You know, the one thing that we're pretty confident in is the big old cold on the way. A big old cool down is what I meant to try to say. So this is between day 10, day 6 and 10. And so this takes us between the 19th and the 23rd. So over the next several days, After a warm up next week, we're going to cool right back down right before Christmas. The chances of below average temperatures are certainly there, anywhere from a 33 to a 50% chance of below average temperatures in this area. And then we even go to day 8 to 10. Below average temperatures look to dominate right through Christmas and a couple days after Christmas. Below average temperatures are predicted for the southeast, mid-Atlantic, and around average temperatures for the northeast. So this isn't just Mitch saying it. This is what the experts are saying too. So if we look at temperatures compared to average, we'll start off next Thursday morning, and then we start to get into next weekend. And, next weekend, the last weekend before Christmas, you're doing your Christmas shopping, whatever you got going on, and you're going to look at the Christmas lights. It's going to be cold. It's going to feel like Christmas. There's going to be any snow falling, potentially. So this is for next Saturday evening, about a week from today. Look at these temperatures. In the green, that's about anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees below average. And if you don't know what your average temperatures are, check out your local National Weather Service office area. There's a lot of ways you can do it. I think you can just do it on the Weather Channel app. But, if your average high is 50 degrees, then, your highs might be in the low 40s to upper 30s. So big cold air mass comes in next weekend and takes over, and it lingers. You could even get to anywhere from 10 to 20 degrees below average for areas of the eastern U.S., and then it begins to moderate closer to Christmas. And then I do think we're going to warm up for the entire lower 48, heck, just about all of North America right after Christmas. And we got to figure out what's going to happen into the new year. And, the GFS ensemble shows the same thing, folks. There's not much difference with this. Thursday morning, cold air moves in, below average temperatures show up. And, hang around. Hang around all the way till about Christmas, and then you start to warm back up. So below average temperatures are definitely looking likely. In fact, the Euro ensemble is colder than the GFS ensemble, which is something you typically don't see. So as far as what's going to happen weather-wise for today, there's the ice event. And folks, I know that kind of bums some people out in the South, but listen, things can change fast. I just don't think there's any point in doubling up the videos until we can get some kind of consistency one way or the other. And if we're going to consistently go towards a less snowier look, then obviously there's less to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So trust me, I'm chomping at the bit to speak on the breakdown of winter storm for the Southeast, guys. I am. It just feels that the more time goes by, the more it happens less and less, just the more unrealistic it feels. But guys, you guys are going to know when there's a legitimate threat. You think that you've seen the joy of me talking about it lately. Just wait till there's actually a threat of a winter storm. So this is what's going on right now. Big surge of moisture from the south hitting cold air in Iowa. So this pink is freezing rain. We got a mixture of freezing rain and sleet in certain areas. So ongoing ice storm in Iowa right now, even some freezing rain in states surrounding Iowa. Eastern U.S. is pretty quiet. The western U.S., we got a big surge of moisture moving in. And, just higher elevation snow, a lot of snow, and then lower elevation rain. As far as watches, warnings, and advisories, this purple color right here, these are ice storm warnings. This lighter shade of purple, that's winter weather advisories. And this is really all due to just a wintry mix. Not much snow with this. This is mainly ice, but it's crazy how this escalated so fast with these ice storm warnings. So please be careful if you live in eastern Iowa today. One thing that has changed is we now have winter weather advisories for the mountains, for the Appalachian Mountains, and really it's the eastern sides, the eastern slopes of the Appalachian Mountains, these favorite cold air damming regions, all the way down to Asheville, guys. Winter weather advisories for a light glaze of ice. Once the further north and northeast you get, like into West Virginia, even higher elevations of Virginia, the Allegheny Mountains of Maryland, and the PA, you have winter storm watches. So these could actually get upgraded to ice storm warnings or winter storm warnings. And this is where you'll get more of a wintry mix of precipitation, not just freezing rain, but you can get a little bit of sleet and snow. And this goes all the way up into northern and northwest sections of PA. This is really for ice. So definitely be aware of that. We've been watching that system for a while. And then we go up here, and that is a huge winter storm watch for a large area of Montana. But we got a big winter weather advisory there. Winter storm warnings up for the Rockies of Idaho, Wyoming, and surrounding states. Winter storm warnings up for the Cascades of California, and one winter storm warning up for this is the Sierra Nevada, the Cascades up here. So if we look at the risk of excessive rainfall, we do have it for central and northern California. If you live in this yellow area, there's a 15% risk of rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance. And then we zoom out. Really, we're not expecting any excessive rainfall anywhere else, any flash flooding. The risk of thunderstorms, you actually have a very small risk of severe weather from basically in San Francisco down to Santa Cruz, north of San Francisco, south. Level 1 out of 5 risk of severe weather. So we'll watch out for that for some gusty winds. And then we got a big, large area that gets some thunderstorms. This actually extends all the way into the ice storm warning. It's pretty wild stuff. So as far as the southeast today, pretty quiet. Some clouds will move in. A little bit of rain shower activity could drift into the eastern Carolinas today in the eastern sections of Florida and Georgia. A big plume of moisture begins to surge in from the west, take over northern sections of Mississippi. It'll move into western Tennessee, western Kentucky first this evening. Then the rain will make it all the way into northern Georgia, eastern Tennessee, eastern Kentucky, and then it'll hit a little bit of cold air. And if you look really closely, you can see a little bit of pink in western North Carolina, splotches of pink and purple and blue tomorrow morning for the favored areas of Virginia and West Virginia. And we're going to get just flat out snow in some certain areas at the higher elevations of West Virginia. And this will continue all day tomorrow. We'll see how long the cold air hangs around before warm air surges in. But that icing event, if you live in this yellow to orange area, a couple 100ths of an inch of ice, someone can squeeze in a 1/10 of an inch of ice in these favored compartment areas right here. And then we move on up the road to the National Weather Service in Virginia, Boone. A few 100ths of an inch of ice is possible. All these areas, Blacksburg, same thing. Might get a little glaze in Roanoke, Lewisburg. A couple 100ths of an inch of ice. But you see these like orange areas, that's where you can get a 1/10 of an inch of ice. So be aware of that. And then on more of West Virginia, Snowshoe could get a 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice. Someone could get a 1/4 of an inch. We'll see how this could get. But, those areas in red right there, that's where you can get a 1/4 inch or more of ice. And there is going to be some snow with this too. Snowshoe could get 4 inches of snow. Beckley, an inch or less. So certain areas could get a few inches of snow too. Cumberland, about an inch of snow. So definitely a moderate winter weather event. And enough to potentially upgrade those winter storm watches and winter storm warnings. So the Northeast today, a cold day with just cold high pressure overhead. But this is really just digging over the Northeast. It really is. So it's just one of those quick, really stout cold shots. So a very cold day today for your Saturday, but not a whole lot going on. It's very dry. And here comes the precipitation moving in. We'll go on and moving into Sunday also. Look at the snow breaking out across PA. Heavy snow into West Virginia, Western Maryland, probably going to eventually switch to some sort of wintry mix. And we get into tomorrow evening. Look at the snow getting all the way into the southern tier. Snow falling for the interior sections of PA and those higher elevations. Snow could start to fall in Scranton tomorrow night. Binghamton, the southern tier. And this could bring even a snow event all the way into the Poconos, the Catskills. By the time you get into late tomorrow night into Monday morning, so a few inches of snow could fall from this as far out as the HRRR model goes. But between now and Tuesday morning, a few inches of snow is possible in central PA, an inch or two from Binghamton to Scranton. Poconos, the Catskills, a couple inches of snow. West Virginia, you see here. But the freezing rain's the issue here, guys. I would say if you live in Western Maryland, someone could squeeze in a 1/4 inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch of ice. Even a glaze of ice is possible here in eastern PA, northern New Jersey. So we'll watch out for that. A little bit of ice is possible here in eastern Ohio, a glaze, a couple 100ths of an inch of ice. But certainly take the icing serious. It's one thing when you get an inch or two of snow, but when you can combine the freezing rain with it, it certainly becomes an issue. The south central U.S., you guys will just get thunderstorms and just heavy burst of rain today. Arkansas will be a very wet morning. It already is this morning. It will continue to be some thunderstorms in eastern Texas, some thunderstorms in northern Louisiana. This rain will start to move into Memphis, across the Mississippi River, start to move into Jackson, Mississippi overnight tonight. And I think things will calm down overnight, but we'll continue to get these rain showers into eastern Kentucky, Louisiana, even all the way through tomorrow morning. So definitely some heavy rain in those areas today. My friends up here in the Midwest, ice storm will continue. That pink is freezing rain, that purple is sleet, and then the blue is snow. But this will continue, but some warm air will move into like central Iowa. So some areas that are locked in below freezing right now has an opportunity to thaw out and get into the mid to upper 30s today as warm air really surges into these regions. So that's the good news. I don't think you're going to get free like this ice storm and just get locked in to the point where this freezing rain can't melt off the trees and stuff like that. But big just rain event across Illinois. This is all rain for the most part after the warm air moves in, and then we're going to continue just to get this wintry mix in southwest Minnesota, southeast Minnesota, northeast Iowa, then southwest Wisconsin. Just a wintry mix, but the precipitation does not get very far north. Could get a little wintry mix late tonight in Green Bay, and all rain in Chicago. And then to see the pink moving into lower Michigan. Look at this freezing rain for you folks. This will move in, but luckily you'll eventually lose kind of the push of moisture into this area. And it doesn't look like you guys are going to get hit as hard as, say, Iowa here in lower Michigan. But we'll continue to move forward after that. But the ice between now and the next 24 hours. So this doesn't include the entire run, but I do think scattered a few 1/100ths of an inch of ice across lower Michigan. Someone could squeeze in 1/10 of an inch of ice, but Iowa is the big state. You guys between now and the rest of the event could get another 1/4 inch to 3/10 of an inch of ice here in eastern Iowa, and just we'll just continue just to have to deal with this. Even before you switch to rain, more ice accumulation expected in northwest Illinois and certainly into southwest sections of Wisconsin later today. And if you look at the snow, just dusting amounts, someone could squeeze in maybe a 1/2 inch to 1 inch in certain areas here. So definitely continue to hunker down and just have a chill day inside in the Midwest today for sure. The western U.S., you'll continue to just get this slug of moisture into California, northern Cal. Continues to be very dry, and Southern California has not gotten a lot down there lately. Snow in the Rockies of Idaho and surrounding states. Look at the snow falling in the higher elevations of Utah. This will move all the way into western Wyoming. And we'll continue to just get a lot of moisture throughout the weekend. We'll move all the way into tomorrow morning. And snow flying around across the northern Rockies up here too. And we'll stop it right there. And we look at snowfall between now and Monday morning. Several inches to feet of snow will add up across the Cascades. And then we dip down here. Well, we'll just look at the Rockies here. Let's see. Feet of snow will add up in the Sierra Nevada. Several inches to a couple feet of snow in the Rockies of Idaho. Idaho will be a big state here in the higher elevations, but not a very cold system. So if you look at the valley regions, this will stay all rain. But these higher mountain ranges here in western Wyoming, several inches to feet of snow expected. So temperatures, you're locked in below freezing in the northeast. Highs just in the 20s and teens, 30s. Some cold air will filter down into Virginia. So even a cold day down to Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C. Highs only in the 30s to low 40s. Start to warm up a little bit down here in the southeast, but the deep south along the Gulf coastline, 60s and 70s, nice. Cold day up here in the upper Midwest, north central U.S., 20s. It's just typical stuff this time of the year, though. Western U.S., just around average, just slightly above average temperature-wise. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless all y'all, and have a wonderful day.